so many firsts, lasts, and in-betweens. We're certainly not the last class to get a smile and a kiss from Bruiser walking across campus. We are never going to be the last class to begin our college careers by serving our local community and pursuing our passions. Above all else, come hell or high water, we will never be the last class to come to Adrian College and find a motivated and supportive community of students, faculty, and staff, and leave with the skills and tools needed to be inspiring industry leaders and professionals with high hopes and dreams for our bright futures ahead. The people and the experiences that we are most grateful for are the ones that will continue us on this upward path for the rest of our lives. In the spirit of gratitude, thank you to my fellow classmates for being a part of this community with me. Whether we spent most of these moments together or barely crossed paths, you contributed your gifts and talents to continue the legacy of this incredible community. Thank you for prioritizing the preservation of the Adrian College experience and for continually seeking to develop the institution's ability to develop both the knowledge in our heads and the care in our hearts.
Thank you to the roommates, friends, teammates, and peers who, although we have only known each other for 4 years, it seems impossible to think about being surrounded by anyone else in the coming weeks. We celebrated each other's accomplishments, became each other's biggest cheerleaders, and never let each other struggle alone. College has been called the most formative years of our lives, but I can say for certain that these last 4 years have included both the most amazing and most difficult moments of my life. One constant, however, is the support of my friends through it all. It is impossible to thank everyone who makes up our AC family. Together, you have each played an integral role in helping us achieve this momentous milestone.
Welcome into Adrian College. We are watching some beautiful softball here on this beautiful Tuesday afternoon. The sun is shining as we get a bunt to start off the game, and we will get a single, and that will be Kennedy Keller, who will be on first for Sienna Heights. Sienna Heights going into this is 3-2 throughout the year. Adrian is currently 5-7, but from starting off their season 0-7, they've won 5 straight and looking to win 2 games in this doubleheader as Emma Fair is up to bat. We have a steal starting quickly, and Kennedy gets to first. It's his second. Keller steals on the first pitch, which was called a strike. The 0-1 pitch. That one is fouled off. On the mound for your Bulldogs is Holmes. Currently, she has 18 strikeouts on 28 innings pitched. And the rest of your lineup for defense, we have Sneed catching behind, Gombowski at first, Campbell at second, Grady at shortstop. We have Bell at third, Hart, Butcher in left, Schuster in center, and then Conley in right field. The 1-2 pitch. That one's fouled off. I think pretty certain that fouled off of her own ankle. The umpire never really knows what was going on there, but luckily it stays a 1-2 count. One-two count. Runner on second. 0 outs. This one's hit into left field. We have Keller rounding, and she's going to get home. And Sienna Heights quickly takes a 1-0 lead as Keller was able to get in off of that RBI single from Fair. Up to bat now is number 12, Kelsey Spear. Kelsey Spear looking for the first pitch. That one is called strike one. Our first on this beautiful Tuesday afternoon. A little bit cloudy here in Adrian, but mostly blue skies as the 0-1 pitch comes in. That one's hit, fouled off to the left side. The wind has seemed to die down a little bit during warm-up, so it's a little bit left to right. And to our left now is construction going on for the new $8 million dome that is coming to Adrian College. For sports in the back 40 here. Proposed as that ball is high and a runner goes. She's just going to bring it back to the pitcher as Fair takes second. And as I was continuing that comment right there, President Docking had a nice State of the College address yesterday as that one's fouled off and the 1-2 count stays. And he showed off the plans for this beautiful project. And it is going to be just to the left of the softball field and the baseball field. And there's some construction going on currently. So with the wind a little bit to left or right, sometimes it could get a little bit dusty in the area as they continue to work. But the 1-2 pitch is fouled off into the netting. One-two count. Sienna Heights already scored one run on the RBI from Fair that brought in number 28 Kennedy Keller. That one is fouled. Is in play and not in time. And it's going back home, and Fair gets in. Off of a little bit of a confusing hit there that just went about 2 feet in front of home plate. That was called fair. Looked foul at first, but it was fair, and unfortunately the Bulldogs could not be able to get the runner out and also let in a run as well. That comes up number 21, Carly Grassley. She hits that one high up in the air in foul territory. And it hits the roof of the press box, actually. Don't know if you guys heard that one on stream, but that one went right off the top of the roof here in the press box. Luckily, it must have stayed up there as no one was hurt or anything like that. Now the 0-1 count. That one in the dirt gets past Sneed, and Spear takes second on a wild pitch. Grassley averaging over 50% on her batting average. Leads the team as she takes that strike, and that one's also in the dirt and passed, but looks like Spear is going to have to go back to second, as apparently it was a foul tip. The 1-2 count for Grassley. She hits that one high up into the air into left field, and it is caught. What a play that was by Schuster, able to call off Art Butcher and get the first out of the inning for the Bulldogs. It's a great catch there for her to be able to move from center field all the way to that gap. Luckily, the ball was able to stay up in the air for long enough for her to get over there and call off her teammate and to make the first out of the inning. When it's outside, runner goes, and she's going to be safe. That throw was not in time. The ump proclaims, and now we have a runner at third with one out and a 1-0 count. For number 26, that would be Mac Lane up to bat. Holmes with the pitch. And it's called strike. Surprised that Spear did not go there. That ball was off of Sneed's glove and to the right side, but she decided to keep there and not wanted to test out the speed of Sneed. That one's hit foul. And all of a sudden, this count that went from 1-0 turns into a 1-2. Holmes looking for the strikeout, hoping that she can get the strikeout, because if this ball is put in play, most likely Spear will be able to go home. It'll be a 3-0 lead for the Saints. That one's called ball, and the count is now 2-2. Lane gets set in the box. Holmes ready for the 2-2 pitch. That one's hit right back to her, but it goes past her. Play to first is not in time, and also first baseman Gombowski was off the bag as Grady was trying to get that over to her. Unfortunately, it was a little bit too far to the left, and the runner scores on the RBI single for Lane. Now up to bat is number 36, Taylor Eppard. That one's called strike one. And the Sienna Heights Saints quickly off to a 3-0 lead as we are in the top of the first of this doubleheader game, as that one's over to third, bobbled a little bit. The throw off the bag. A little bit of confusion there. It looked to be that Eppard was called safe at first, and the throw back to Lane rounding second to third was in time, and she was called out. As we get a time for Hartbusher to tie her shoe in the middle of left field. So Eppard reaches to second off of what seemed to be a single turn double, but Lane was unfortunately called out as she tried to go from second to third, and unfortunately she couldn't get there in time. And now the Bulldogs have 2 outs and an 0-1 count to number 35, Rachel Shoemaker, as she takes ball 1 that was called outside. The count is now 1-1. 2 outs here. 3-0 lead for Sienna. 1-1 count. Here's the pitch. That one's outside as well on the breaking ball. 2-1 count here. Holmes would love to get out of this inning, as it's already been 3 runs for Sienna. That one's hit short, back to Holmes, and she bobbles it. And unfortunately, Shoemaker gets to first on an error. That brings up number 8, Riley Hoover, up to bat. We have bases, runners on the corners here with 2 outs, as she hits that one foul just over the netting here at the beautiful field at Adrian College. The wind has started to pick up a little bit left to right, as we had earlier. Now, Riley with the 0-1 count. Holmes the pitch. That one's called outside. We have a runner goes, and Adrian's not even going to attempt to get Shoemaker out there, and she steals a base, and now the runners are both in scoring position with 2 outs. Hoover looking for a 2-out rally. That one's hit right to third. The throw over to first is out, and that will retire the side. 3 outs here at Adrian College. The top of the first is completed, but Sienna Heights able to take a 3-0 lead. Adrian is up to bat for the bottom of the first when we come back. Don't go anywhere. You are watching Bulldog softball on ACTV. at Adrian College. We are in the bottom of the first game of this doubleheader between Adrian College and Sienna Heights, as ball 1 is given to number 9, Elizabeth Grady is up to bat. We have Miller on the mound for Sienna. She has pitched all but 4 innings so far this season for Sienna, as she puts in a breaking ball and a swing and a miss was Grady for strike 1. The rest of Sienna Heights defense, Miller on the mound as we get another swing for strike 2. Lane and catcher Grassley at first, Eppard at second, Schellenberger at shortstop, Hoover at third, Spear left, Keller center, and Graham in right field. That one fouled off, and Grady stays alive in this 1-2 count. Your lineup for Adrian looks like Grady, Glombowski, Sneed, then Bell, Schuster, Holmes, Hartbusher, Campbell, and then Conley. That one's hit to third, bobbled a little bit, and not able to get it was Hoover. And we have a leadoff single, or might be considered an error, as that one went off of, seemed to be the stomach of Hoover, and she was not able to get it over to first. So runner on first here, the bottom of the first, with 0 outs, and up to bat is Glombowski. Her first pitch she's seen was a breaking ball, and she swung and missed for strike 1. Glombowski having the best batting percentage on the team with .514. Followed up, also her on-base percentage is the best, as she bloops this one over to foul territory, and Hoover able to make that play on that one, and she will be called out for number 1 of the bottom of the first. Runner still on first as that ball was fouled off and caught. That leaves up to Caitlin Sneed, third batter for Adrian, as Miller gives her the first pitch. She sees it, and it's called a little bit low. Grady on first from an error, and Glombowski fortunately fouled out. Sneed sees a second, that one also going foul, and hits the top of the fencing for strike 1 of the at-bat. We're 1-1 with 1 out in the bottom of the first. 3-0 lead for Sienna if you're just joining in. Sienna Heights able to take a 3-0 commanding lead in the top of the first due to a couple of infield errors and a lot of stolen bases, as that one's hit to third. Hoover thrown over, and the first baseman drops the ball. So Sneed gets on base on first, and Grady gets from second to third as well. And it was dropped. So now brings up number 20, Allie Bell, up to bat with runners on the corners with only 1 out. She sees the first one, swings on the first one. This one going foul, and unable to make the play was Eppard, as she ran all the way from her position in second, trying to track down that ball, but the wind fortunately pushed a little bit more to the right than she could have gotten there in time to. So lucky for Bell, she stays in this at-bat, only down 0-1. That one swung foul. It's a hit off the dirt. Inside, and now the count is 0-2. 1 out here in the bottom of the first. Have a runner in scoring position as well on first. Bell up to bat. She takes that one outside, and the count is now 1-2. 1-2 pitch. She swings at that one. That one's also going to be foul. Runners on the corner for Adrian College as they try to fight back into this game already down 3-0, trying to preserve their 5-0 winning streak that they have been on. That one's also going to be outside, and now the count is 2-2. Miller, as we talked about a little bit before, has pitched in all 4 innings. All innings but 4 for Sienna, and she also has 17 strikeouts on the year. Sienna sits at 3-2, only playing 5 games in this club season. Adrian playing a little bit more, played 12 so far throughout the year, and sit at a record of 5-7, as that one is also fouled off. Bell keeping herself in this count as she was down 1-2 and has fouled off a numerous balls so far. Must be thinking that Miller is kind of thinking to herself just to get the strikeout here. And instead it's going to be a single right up the middle, and that's going to score a run for the Bulldogs. And Bell will get an RBI single as she was able to read that one perfectly. It had a little bit of movement on it, but she was able to get full swing and full contact on it and just over the head of Miller, and she's got herself an RBI single. Be called strike 1 to number 24, Jocelyn Schuster. With 1 out, we have now runners on first and second. As this pitch comes in, it's going to be just outside, according to the ump, and a 1-1 count it is. Interesting dynamic. Sienna Heights stealing at will in the top of the inning as this one's hit foul. Third baseman Hoover was almost able to get down to that one before it was called foul, but luckily it hit the ground, or she would have been able to most likely make the play over to first and end the inning. Well, kind of. Pitch now, 1-2. Blooped up, and it's going to be caught. And a double play was almost maybe in play there, but first baseman Grassley was able to get to that one, and Empire wasn't able to get over to first in time to make the double play. And now there's 2 outs, still runners at first and second. Up to bat is number 13, Haley Holmes, the pitcher for Adrian, as she takes strike 1 from Miller. Finish my thought. Adrian not really stealing any bases compared to how Sienna Heights was, as that one's going to be inside. I think also has to be a factor of there hasn't been any wild pitches for Miller so far. Adrian had a few wild pitches and also didn't really show any threats of being able to get the outs on the steal bases, but this pitch now hit a little bit of a blooper to second, over to first, and that's going to be 3 outs for Sienna. Adrian able to score 1, but leaving 2 on base as we round up the first inning. Top of the second will be right here on ACTV after these ads.
Today's students on the threshold of a magical time in your life, a time of significant growth and introspection, self-awareness, challenge, and opportunity. A time when you will always look back at and say, you know what? Those were incredibly special years. never experienced before I arrived and never replicated after you leave college.
Welcome back here at Adrian College. Looking at the top of the second of this 3-1 game. And the first game of 2 today. So this doubleheader, that one is called a ball on the outside. Up to bat for the Saints of Sienna Heights is number 34, Rory Miller. So we have, again, pitcher-on-pitcher battle here. As this one's hit to second. Great play over to first. It is a call out. That was Campbell over to Glombowski. Glombowski able to make the play. Keeping her foot on the bag. And Miller not able to get anything going for the Saints so far in this inning. Well, we have number 14, Hannah Hooker, up to bat as she takes ball 1 on the outside. Holmes likes to throw a little bit of a breaking ball to trying to hit that outside corner, but so far can't get it done as that one's hit over the shortstop, over back to first, and the play is made for the second out. We've had 4 pitches so far and 2 outs. As Miller and Hooker not able to get anything going with 2 ground outs. First one going to second, and the second one going to the shortstop as we have number 42, Emily Mayax, up to bat. Her first pitch, she seen was a little bit high. First maybe thought about going for it, but she decided to hold back her swing as that one was obviously high, a little bit closer to her head than anything else. Oh, 1-0 count. She again started swing but did not go for it, but this time it is called a strike as that breaking ball was able to get into the strike zone, and now we have a 1-1 count. 2 outs already here in the top of the second. So we had 2 quick at bats. That one is low for ball 2. A little bit different here than the first inning for Sienna Heights as they made quick work of Adrian College's defense as they were able to score 3 quick runs on a couple of stolen bases and a couple of errors. It's that pitch she saw and swung at this time, but this time just completely misses it, and the count is now 2-2. 3-1 lead here for Sienna Heights. Trying to get something going in the top of the second. Holmes looking for a 1-2-3 inning. That one is high. And check swing. Should not go, so it's going to be a full count. The 3-2 pitch. Swung and fouled at just over the netting here. As the count and the at-bat continues. Mayax trying to get something going for Sienna. Holmes looking to end the inning early. That one's going to be high for ball 4. And Mayax will take her base. So now we have a runner at first with 2 outs. Sienna Heights looking to make a little bit of a rally here as number 41, Taylor Graham, is up to the bat. He shows bunt and pulls back as that one was low and outside. Have our first lefty for Sienna Heights for the day. Shows bunt again, and that one's also low. So quickly this count is 2-0. Graham has shown bunt in both of balls that she's seen, but pulled it back twice, and she's going to show it again. This time she goes for it. She just misses, and it's going to be strike one. 2-1 count here at the top of the second with 2 outs and a runner at first. That one was inside, and she could not pull away her bunt in time, and now the count is 2-2. So she's going to have to most likely swing at this one, because if she bunts it and it goes foul, she's going to be out and end the inning. 2-2 pitch. Swing. That one's going to be foul. She fouled it off of Sneed's face mask, and the count stays 2-2. Max able to reach first, and she swings and misses right there for strike 3. Holmes able to get 3 outs with 4 batters as she gets her first K of the day, and Adrian keeps the game to be only 3-1 as we go into the bottom of the second right after this.
Today's students on the threshold of a magical time in your life, a time of significant growth and introspection, self-awareness, challenge, and opportunity. A time when you will always look back at and say, you know what? Those were incredibly special years. Never experienced before I arrived and never replicated after you leave college.
Welcome back here at Adrian College at this beautiful Tuesday afternoon. 70 degrees and a little bit of clouds, but nothing much going on as the first pitch of the bottom of the second is going to be called for a ball. Up bat is Alexis Hartbutcher as she swings at this one over to second, and a quick first out for the inning for Sienna, as that one went straight to Eppard. She didn't really have to move at all. Nice little routine play for her. Able to pick that one quickly out of her glove and throw it over to Grassley for the first out of the bottom of the second. That one, a breaking ball from Miller, called strike 1. On to bat now is number 32, Taylor Campbell, second baseman for Adrian. 0-1 count. She's going to swing that one right past Hoover as that one gets to the outfield, and Campbell has a hit, and it's going to be a single, and now the Bulldogs have a runner at first in the bottom of the second here. Now up to bat is Mercedes Conley as she takes ball 1 being a little bit low from Miller. Yeah, 1 ball, 0 strikes of this at bat with 1 out here in the bottom of the second. That one called strike 1 Was caught the inside part of the strike zone. Conley now 1-1. Pitch. A little bit high. And it's going to be 2-1. Taylor Campbell able to reach first off of a single that went into left field. She hasn't looked to steal yet at all, as the pickoff play from the catcher almost worked out, but unfortunately for Sienna, Campbell was able to get back in time. Lane and Grassley try to do a quick play there, as that one is inside for ball 4. And Conley will take first on a walk, and Adrian has runners on first and second. That brings Adrian back to the top of the order with Elizabeth Grady, as she was able to reach first base on an error. So we have runners at first and second. 1-0 count. Here's the pitch. She's going to hit that one off the glove of Schellenberger. She was just not able to get to that one, as Grady is going to be able to reach first. And Campbell almost got called out there at third, because obviously the ball was almost caught. So she hesitated a little bit while running, because she possibly might have had to go back to second. But it was obviously tipped off of the glove, and she moved over to third just in time before the throw came in. Bases loaded here for Glembowski. We've said it before. She's got the best batting percentage on the team, so if you're an Adrian College fan, you want her to be at bat with the bases loaded. 0-1 pitch. Swung and missed. Count is now 0-2. She also is tied for the team leading in RBIs with 10, tied with Schuster. Trying to make that not be tied anymore. That one to shortstop, back to the catcher, and that's going to be an out. For out number 2, a smart play there by Schellenberger to, instead of going to first, she goes to Lane for the out to make sure that this game is still 3-1. So Glembowski will reach on a fielder's choice, as that one is fouled for a second. Both Adrian and Sienna thought it was possibly in play, but that one clearly went off of home plate, and that would be strike 1 for the count. Kaylin Sneed grounded out in the first. She's got bases loaded, as that one is foul for ball 1 of the count. 1-1 with 2 outs. Adrian is threatening with bases loaded. Pitch is blooped over to first, and Grassley will just walk over and get the out, as Adrian was threatening to score with bases loaded. Unfortunately left all 3 of them out to dry, as Sienna gets out of a jam and holds the 3-1 lead as we conclude this the bottom of the second, and we'll be back here on ACTV with the top of the third. Don't
today's students on the threshold of a magical time in your life, a time of significant growth and introspection, self-awareness, challenge, and opportunity. A time when you will always look back at and say, you know what? Those were incredibly special years. Never experienced before I arrived, and never replicated after you leave college.
Adrian College. Some club softball being played. The score so far in this game, we've had only 2 innings of play so far, and the score is 3-1 in favor of Sienna, as the first pitch is going to be outside from Holmes to number 25, Erin Groom. She steps into the batter's box for the first time in today's contest and takes ball 1. 1-0 pitch. A swung hit just past Grady as it goes into center field, and Groom will get a single to start off the top of the third. A little bit different from the last inning, as Holmes was able to get 2 quick outs for walking a person and then getting the third. First pitch is going to be called strike 1 on number 4, Lee Clinton for Sienna. We're runner at first already with 0 outs here in the top of the third. 0-1 pitch is going to be low and outside. Clinton doing a little bit of a technique to possibly bunt while also running to first base kind of almost simultaneously, as we will see right here if she does it again. That one going to be outside. She kind of does a little bit of a shuffle in the batter's box, move you can do in softball to maybe increase your chances of beating out the throw to first. Holmes now, as that one's bunted but foul. So the count is now 2-2 for Clinton. Holmes looking for her second strikeout of the day. So we're only 2 innings in so far. The 2-2 pitch. Swing, it's blooped over to third, back to first, and she's going to be safe. That shuffle proved to show its effectiveness as she was able to beat out the throw from Bell over to Gombowski, and Sienna Heights has runners on first and second with 0 outs. First pitch is going to be called strike for number 2, Ava Schellenberger. Zero out so far in the top of the third here. That one is going to be outside, and now the count is 1-1. Haven't really seen Sienna Heights steal as much as they did in the first inning, which kind of increased their chances of scoring the runs, and obviously they did with 3. As that one is going to be also high, and the count is now 2-1. Holmes looking to get an out. Possibly the Bulldogs can make a double play. They have a forced out at all 3 of the bags. Obviously not at home, as that one's hit through the gap, and runner is going to be held up at third. So we're going to have bases loaded and the top of the order for Sienna with Kennedy Keller, as she has also been batting .500 along with her teammate Carly Grassley. So this is a dangerous girl to have with the bases loaded, and Holmes is going to have to do something here, as that one's going to be called strike 1. That one able to get probably the top right of the strike zone, and the count is now 0-1. Bases are loaded. Pitch. That one's going to be called foul, and now the count is 0-2. This is huge for Holmes, trying to get the first out of the inning. She would love to get a strikeout here, but all now 4 bases are forced outs. That one's blooped up into the air and caught by Grady. So Adrian able to get 1 out And also what's nice about that pop out was that none of the runners could advance anywhere. So the bases stay loaded and the score stays 3-1. Up to bat now is number 7, Emma Fair, as she got a RBI single in her first at bat in first. And that one's going to be hit right back to the pitcher, but gets through her. And the runner's going to score. The second one's coming in, and she is also going to score. And all runners also move up another base. So to follow up that RBI single, Fair gets 2 RBIs on that hit. And it's going to be a double for her as well. Up to bat now is number 12, Kelsey Spear, with runners on second and third. She's going to hit that one foul off to the left. And the count is 0-1. 1 out so far, 2 runs scored for Sienna Heights. Score now 5-1. Adrian looking to get out of a jam here, because that one's going to be outside, and the count is now 1-1. Fortunately, that last play, Schuster was not able to get that throw to Sneed in time, and the runner from second was able to score off that RBI double. As that one's in the dirt, great grab by Sneed, able to pick that one out of the dirt and not make it a wild pitch, as that could have easily scored another runner for Sienna. A 2-1 count now for Spear. She hits that one high up into the air, into center field, caught by Schuster. The runner is going to tag up and score, so that would be a sacrifice fly for Spear. And the score is now 6-1, favoring the Saints of Sienna Heights. Up to bat now is number 21, Carly Grassley, with a runner on third and 2 outs. Her first pitch, she's going to see this inning, is going to be called strike 1. Carly Grassley, as we mentioned before, batting over 500 on the season so far. And only 5 games played. It's not the biggest of sample sizes, but she's still able to get the job done. As that one is going to be called fair. And she's going to get a RBI double, at least, as it seemed that Bell had that one tipped off her glove. And it was called fair as it went right over the bag. And Carly Grassley flew out in her first at bat, and this time gets a RBI double. Excuse me. And that brings up number 26, Mac Lane, the catcher for the Saints. Got a runner in scoring position as that one's tipped on the air, and she's going to go, and she's going to be out. It's going to retire the inning, as Sneed was able to get that one as she kind of bobbled it at the start, and that's what made Grassley go to third, and she was able to have that quick arm and throw it over to Bell for the third out. Unfortunately, though, the Saints score 4 runs in that inning and quickly make this game from 3-1 to 7-1. The Bulldogs need something going for themselves, and they will try to get that exact thing as they go into the bottom of the third right after this.
Today's students on the threshold of a magical time in your life, a time of significant growth and introspection, self-awareness, challenge, and opportunity. A time when you will always look back at and say, you know what? Those were incredibly special years. never experienced before I arrived and never replicated after you leave college.
Welcome back here at Adrian College for some more club softball, as your Bulldogs are unfortunately down 7-1 in the bottom of the third, looking to make a big comeback to start off. The leader, as that one's going to be a single, and that was Bell. We got an RBI single, her last at bat, and she continues to stay perfect on the day with now 2-2. That was a great little blooper right over third and shortstop, as that one went to left field, and she's able to have a leadoff single, and that brings up number 24, Jocelyn Schuster, the center fielder for your Bulldogs, as she takes ball one in the dirt. Bell was thinking about going, as that one's going to be a bunt, but foul. As a little bit of confusion there on how Bell got to second, as I thought that one went foul, but now it's going to be hit into the gap between second and third. And we got runners on the corners to start off for the Bulldogs, as you wanted a comeback, and they are starting to show that, as Bell reaches third. On an interesting way, she reached to second, but this one was for real this time, and she got to third on a wonderful single from Schuster. This brings up number 13, Holmes, as she bloops that one to first, and Bell's going to be called safe there, as Bell waited out Miller to throw that to first and decided to take the run and take the risk, and she was able to get in, and the Bulldogs erase one and are now only down by 5. So that will be an RBI ground out for Holmes, as that first pitch is going to be a ball going to number 12, Alexis Hartbuscher. She unfortunately grounded out in her first at bat, hoping for a difference here when you have a runner in scoring position. That one's going to be hit over to first, and it's going to be a race to get there, and it's going to be called out. Grassley making the hustle play, as she was able to pick that one up and move over to the bag at first and beating out Hartbuscher. So 2 outs now here in the bottom of the third. Adrian's got 1 run and also a runner in scoring position at third, as that one's going to be a little bit low for ball 1 for number 32, Taylor Campbell. She was able to single her on her first at bat, able to hit up the gap that Adrian has been able to pick off a few times between shortstop and third, as that one's going to be called strike 1, as she thought that was going to be a little bit up high, but breaking ball was able to do exactly what it's supposed to do and get into the strike zone for strike number 1. 1-1 count with 2 outs here in the bottom of the third. That one's going to be hit, a little bit of a blooper one, and it's going to get it's going to be fair. My goodness, that one was just able to find the line as she went opposite side of the field, and the wind kind of caught it, but not enough for it to go foul, and she's going to have herself another single, but this time it's going to be an RBI. And this is going to bring up number 21, Mercedes Conley, as she's going to hit down over to third. Play is made over to first, and that's going to be out number 3. But Adrian able to score 2 in the inning, making this game only 7-3. And we will be right back for the top of the 4th right after these messages.
You stand today's students on the threshold of a magical time in your life, a time of significant growth and introspection, self-awareness, challenge, and opportunity. A time when you will always look back at and say, you know what? Those were incredibly special years. Never experienced before I arrived and never replicated after you leave college.
Welcome back here at Adrian College in this beautiful day. The wind blowing a little bit left to right here. 70 degrees, partial clouds. Nice day to wear a t-shirt and some shorts, whatever you might choose to wear in the hot spring sun. So we get strike number 1 of the first pitch of this at bat. And up to bat is number 26, Mac Lane, the catcher for the Saints of Sienna Heights. 0-1 count. That one's going to be hit and over, and it's going to be caught by Kelsey Spear as she's able to make that out. As we've had a little bit of change in the outfield as Spear takes over for Conley. And a few more changes that we'll get updated for in the infield as well. As that one's going to be ball 1 for number 36, Taylor Eppard, the second baseman. So quick out for Adrian as they try to forget about what happened last inning. That one's going to be outside by a mile for ball 1. 7-3 is your score so far here in the top of the 4th. Nobody on and 1 out. 2-0 count. And here's the pitch. It's going to be swung over to third. Unfortunately, not able to make the play was number 27, Kayla Downey, as she comes in to replace Bell. Bell might have taken first there. I think Gombowski goes to left field as the Bulldogs decide to switch things up as they've led up 7 runs already in 3 innings so far. By the way, Eppard was able to make it a nice single into a double, so she continues her great day as she had an RBI single in her first at-bat and now has a double to follow that. As this one's blooped over to first, and the play is going to be made by Bell playing first. As the switch-up continues to happen, as we kind of understand what Caitlin has done with her defense. And that's going to be out number 2 of the top of the 4th. Runner did advance to third, though, so very possibility with a single here that Sienna Heights will be able to extend their lead as number 8, Riley Hoover, was thinking about going for that one but decided not to as it was in the dirt for ball number 1. 1-0 count here. Runner on third and 2 outs. And here's the pitch. That one's going to be a nice breaking ball that gets inside the strike zone for strike number 1. So it seems like all other positions have stayed the same. Gombowski moving over to left field. And Bell from third to first. And as that one's going to be high for ball number 2. And Downey over to third. 2-1 count here for Hoover. Trying to extend the inning and extend the lead. That one's hit right up the middle, up the gap. And the runner will score, and Hoover will have an RBI single for herself. As that will bring up number 34, Rory Miller, the pitcher for Sienna Heights. Runner at first with 2 outs. There's the first pitch of the at-bat. He's going to be in there for strike number 1. Holmes able to throw a little bit of a breaking ball, as she's done that multiple times already in this inning, and able to find the lower part of the strike zone. Sienna Heights batters might be wanting to sit on that a little bit and kind of look for that pitch, as it is slower than the other one, and than her fastball, obviously. And if you wait on it, you will probably make good contact with it, as it has been low a couple of times. 1-1 is the count with a runner on first. That one's hit high up into the air, into the right field, and it's going to be caught by number 12, Alexis Hartbuscher, as she's able to make the play for 3 outs. Fortunately, Sienna Heights was able to score 1 run in the top of the 4th, better than the 3rd. Obviously, they scored 4 in that one. But still, they hold an 8-3 lead going into the bottom of the 4th. And we will get to that right after this.
Today's students on the threshold of a magical time in your life, a time of significant growth and introspection, self-awareness, challenge, and opportunity. A time when you will always look back at and say, you know what? Those were incredibly special years. Never experienced before I arrived and never replicated.
Adrian College down 8-3, but they are indeed at the top of the order with Elizabeth, known as Lizzie Grady, as she takes ball 1. Miller staying on the mound, which is what we expected, as she pitches most of the innings for the Saints. That one's going to be fouled off, and the count now is 1-1. What's going to be interesting in this double-header affair is if Miller pitches this game as well as the second one, as the other pitchers for Sienna have had a little bit of no experience at all, as that one's blew back to her, and she's going to make the play for the first out. So 1 out here quickly after 3 pitches. And Elizabeth has grounded out to follow up with her getting on base from an error and a fielder's choice. So her day starts with at 0-1. To bat now, it's number 11, Glombowski, now playing left field after some switches in the defense. And she takes strike 1. She has... Oh, now it's going to be blooped over to third and over to first. It's going to be 2 quick outs for Sienna Heights, as they are looking to go 1-2-3 in this inning and keep their lead with 5. Now up to bat, batting third for Adrian is Caitlin Sneed. So far, she has grounded out. As this pitch is going to be outside for ball number 1. That's just a few swings before going back into the batter's box, looking to get something going for the Bulldogs. That one's going to be hit foul. as Hoover was kind of thinking about it. Maybe trying to make a play before that thing went foul, but before she can do anything, it crossed over the white line here at this wonderful field on Adrian College's campus. And now the count is 1-1. Pitch hit over back to Hoover, and she's not able to make the play. And Sneed will have a single, and the inning will continue as a 2-out rally possibly in play here for the Bulldogs, as that one was pretty much on the base, and Hoover not able to get to it with her outstretched arms. And that leads up to Allie Bell, number 24, Adrian, as she takes ball one. Said that one was a little bit high. The wind now kind of going to the outfield a little bit. Still a little bit left to right, but something to think about as that one's hit right to Hoover. She picks it up over to first, and 3 outs on 4 batters for Sienna Heights, and they retire the side. Nothing going on for Adrian as they are currently down 8-3, desperately trying to get something going to extend their win streak from 5. They will first need to play some defense in the top of the 5th inning when we will get back after these messages.
Today's students on the threshold of a magical time in your life, a time of significant growth and introspection, self-awareness, challenge, and opportunity. A time when you will always look back at and say, you know what? Those were incredibly special years. Never experienced before I arrived and never replicated after you leave college.
Welcome back here for more club softball. Adrian College unfortunately losing 8-3 to the hometown rival in Sienna Heights. As up to bat now is number 14, Hannah Hooker, as she takes called strike one on a nice pitch from Holmes. She's been pitching decently well. Unfortunately, her defense has not been able to help her out. So nothing against her. The lead is still 5 as 8 runs have been able to score. That one, ball number 1. That one was a little bit outside. Missed a little bit on the breaking ball. She usually likes to have them low and outside, sometimes painting the bottom right corner. As that one's hit high up into the air, into the gap, and it's going to be caught. What a play that was by Hartbucher, as she was able to use her legs and wheel over into the gap. For sure, that looked like that thing was going to get down, but it sat up in the air just in time for Hartbucher to be able to get over there and make the great play for out number 1. So Hannah Hooker flies out after grounding out and leads back as Emily Makes will take strike 1. Her last at bat, she was able to walk and get on to first from that, as she had a long at bat and a nice battle with Holmes, and that Mayax was able to win as that one was a little bit low, and the count is now 1-1. 8-3 is your score so far. A little bit of a recap for those joining in. In the first inning, Sienna was able to put 3 up early. Then Adrian was able to respond with a run. Nothing going in the second inning, but Sienna Heights was able to explode for 4 more runs in the top of the third. Bottom of the third, Adrian was able to get 2 back until the top of the fourth, where Sienna Heights was able to score another run, and Adrian keeping at only 3. This one fouled off, and the count is now 2-2. Mayax was able to do the same thing. She got ahead of herself in the count when she walked. It was 0-2, and she was able to climb back with a bunch of foul balls and a good eye and able to get a walk. That one's going to be called strike 3 as Holmes gets her second K of the day. And we saw it a couple of times. She's been able to throw that breaking ball and paint that corner in the bottom right, a throw that she loves to have and a pitch she loves to throw. This leads up now to number 41, Taylor Graham. As that one's going to be popped up into the air. And it's going to be caught. That one was caught by Kayla Doney as the wind kind of affected a little bit. And she was able to make the diving play on a pop-up fly. And that'll be out number 3. Sienna Heights not able to get anything going. And Adrian able to show off some stellar defense as we had a great play in the outfield. And then another great play right there with also a K. Bottom of the 5th will be coming right up after these messages.
Today's students on the threshold of a magical time in your life, a time of significant growth and introspection, self-awareness, challenge, and opportunity. A time when you will always look back at and say, you know what? Those were incredibly special years. Never experienced before I arrived and never replicated after you leave college.
Welcome back here at Adrian College, as that one's going to be popped up quickly. And a miscommunication, and Jocelyn Schuster was able to reach first on an error. I don't know who that error is going to be on, but the second and first baseman not able to communicate well. And Eppert and Grassley, seemed like Grassley originally thought that was going to be hers, and maybe Eppert called her off and then just wasn't able to get to the ball in time. But either way, Adrian College has a runner on first with 0 outs in the bottom of the 5th, down by 5. This brings up the pitcher Holmes as we get some pitcher-on-pitcher action here. That's going to be ball number 1. The 1-0 pitch. It's going to swing. It's going to go right over shortstop and past center fielder as well. And Schuster is rounding third, and she is going to get there in time. Head first slide into home, and Adrian is off running in the bottom of the 5th as they score a run early. It was a great strike of the ball by Holmes, just able to have a nice liner right over shortstop Schellenberger, and it got just past Keller as she dove to get that one, and she took the risk trying to cut off the play from being something big, and it already was. We're going to have a little bit of a blooper, and it's going to drop. My goodness, what placement on that blooper, as again Schellenberger and Keller not able to get to that ball, as that thing went just a little bit outside of the dirt into the grass. And that's good. That's like in that no man's land where it just an easy play to get on first. It's normally unlikely for that to happen, as a pop-up usually turns into an out. But luckily for Adrian, they have runners on first and second with 0 outs. And this lead is now only 4. The pitch is going to be called strike for Campbell. Campbell able to single and then have an RBI single as well in her first 2 at-bats. Now this is her third, and the count is 1-1. The pitch. She's going to swing that one, and it's going to be caught. Uh-oh. Double play is made. Oh, such an unfortunate thing for the Bulldogs. They had something great going, but unfortunately Holmes thought that one was going to drop, and Keller able to make the play in time as she was playing a little bit farther up in the field and able to make a quick double play. And Adrian goes from having 0 outs now to 2. As the runner goes, and she's going to be safe. Lane not able to get that throw in time to Schellenberger, probably because nobody was covering second, as Adrian gets their first stolen base, not really expecting anything. And Donnie still is in the at-bat, and she's going to bump that one foul. And they have 1 strike on the scoreboard, but the ump just showed 1-1, so that's what we're going to go with. 1-1 count with 2 outs and a runner in scoring position on second now after that stolen base. That one's going to be hit just over shortstop again. We're going to be rounding third. The throw in is going to be safe. The throw gets away. And Donnie able to reach second off of that single. And it's going to be a single now turned into a double. And Adrian's has 2 runs in the bottom of the 5th so far with 2 outs. Now we are back to the top of the order with Elizabeth Grady. She's not had the best day so far. Reached on an error and a fielder's choice with also a ground out. But hoping to get something with ball number 1. She's got a runner in scoring position. And Donnie replaces Mercedes Conley in the batting order. This one's hit into left. And the play was made by Spear for out number 3. But for the Bulldogs, the thing to look at is they've been able to score 2 runs. It was quick. And unfortunately, that double play kind of hurt them as they had a little bit of a 2-out rally. But they were able to score 2 and cut down the lead to only 3 as we go into the top of the 6th right after these ads.
Today's students on the threshold of a magical time in your life, a time of significant growth and introspection, self-awareness, challenge, and opportunity. A time when you will always look back at and say, you know what? Those were incredibly special years. Never experienced before I arrived and never replicated after you leave college.
Welcome back here at Adrian College. This game is now only a difference of 3 as Adrian was able to score 2 quick runs in the bottom of the 5th as we are getting into the top of the 6th action here as we get strike number 1, which was a foul ball from number 25, Aaron Groom. Groom was able to single in her first at-bat, and she's looking to do the same in this one as she fouled off her strike number 1, excuse me. Pitch. That one is going to be just a little bit high. as that breaking ball did not break enough to get back into the strike zone. It was a close one, but ump calls ball 1, and the count is now 1-1. Holmes still pitching for the Bulldogs. That one's going to be hit foul, and the count is now 1-2. 2 strikes with 2 foul balls as Sneed goes over to her dugout to get a new ball from the bucket. And Holmes retrieves it and waits for Sneed to get back and the ump to call play ball. And they're going to be back in business with this 1-2 pitch. That one's hit into right field. Art Boucher making the easy play for out number 1 with a fly out from Groom. So she singled in her first at bat and flew out this time. And the Bulldogs get 1 down in the top of the 6th. This leads to number 4, Lee Clinton. Now batting from the opposite side. She was a lefty at first. Her first at bat. Now she's batting from the right side as she takes strike 1 on that breaking ball. Seen it many of times now. I've said almost the same thing with that breaking ball, just finding the outside bottom right corner. 0-1 pitch. Swing and miss from Clinton as it's the same exact pitch again. Holmes working with what is working for her. She's been able to throw that pitch extremely well and be able to not let Sienna get anything off as that one's hit high into left field. Back at the warning track, and it's gone! Clinton hits a bomb as her teammates go around home plate as she gets in there, and fortunately, that breaking ball, Clinton was able to catch all of it as she went to left field right over the Cave sign, the Sklarsky sign, and a 1-run shot from her. And this game is now a difference of 4. 9-5 is your score. As a second, shortstop, Schellenberger is now up to bat. As she takes ball number 1 on the outside. Unfortunate for Holmes, she had what seemed to be that at bat in her hands perfectly as she quickly went to an 0-2 count. Fortunately, Clinton was just able to read the pitch, and then sometimes what happens when you throw the same pitch 3 times in a row, batter will eventually be able to see it and sit on it, and that's exactly what Clinton was able to do. As she pulled that one for a nice little home run as this one's blooped over to short. The throw is not going to be in time. And Schellenberger shows off her speed as she gets an infield single for herself. That brings up back to the top of the order with Kennedy Keller. She flew on her last at bat with bases loaded, but singled her first. And here's the pitch. The runner's going to go, but the bunt is going to be foul. So, unfortunately for the speedster and Schellenberger, she's going to have to walk herself back to first. Now, Downey playing a little bit farther up as Keller showed bunt earlier, and she's going to show it again off the start. She might pull this one back right away. She does. Now it's going to be a ball. And Sneed not even going to test her arm out as she just throws that one back to the pitcher. And Schellenberger gets an easy stolen base. Sneed probably not wanting to test the accuracy of herself and also the reliability as that one's going to be bunted perfectly on the third baseline. And Keller just shows off a little bit of finesse and touch with the bat, as that bunt was as perfect as you can get, as that one was right in the middle of the triangle that is Sneed, Holmes, and Downey. Got runners on the corners now with 1 out. The only run of this inning was that bomb from Clinton, or 1-run shot. That to bat is fair. And now it's foul, and it's in the dirt, and the runner is going to score on a wild pitch, and Keller is going to get it all the way from first to third, as Sneed wasn't really paying attention to where Keller was, and she's going to take third, and Caitlin is going to have a mound visit with her team. The score is now 10-5 here at Adrian College. Unfortunate for the Bulldogs, they had a great bottom fifth where they were able to score 2 great runs to get this game to 3. And as quickly as it went from 5-3 of the difference, we're back to it at 5. Score 10-5. And Fair up to bat. She's already got 3 RBIs on the day for herself. She's having herself a day. She had an RBI single in the first. And then she was a part of that 4-run inning in the top of the third where she had 2 RBIs and a double. So a dangerous person to have at bat, as she seemed to show her ability so far in this game. And she has a runner in scoring position at third. Also, thing to worry about now if you are Sneed is you can't let a ball get past you again, as Keller is fast. And it's almost a guaranteed run if that ball gets passed for a wild pitch. That one's hit foul for strike number 1 of the at-bat. 1 out only here in the top of the 6th. Hope you all are enjoying this game so far. Maybe not necessarily the score, but just a wonderful game that these ladies love to play. As this 0-1 pitch is coming in, and it's going to be low, and it's going to go wild again, and the runner is going to score with ease. And this game now is 11-5. That one unfortunately hit home plate a little bit oddly. Holmes didn't necessarily like the ball either, as she just replaced it. Might have been a little bit of dirt on it with that other wild pitch that she had. Fortunately, that one found the dirt and clipped off of Sneed's glove, and Keller able to score with ease, as that's going to be a nice breaking ball in for strike number 2. Seen Holmes not really throw that breaking ball that much after Clinton was able to get a hold of it, as that one was probably the first one, as that one's going to be outside, that we've seen since. But Bulldogs just trying to stop the bleeding here in the top of the 6th with a 2-2 count with 1 out. The pitch. It's going to be up in the air and hits a little bit of an aisle in the stairwell here, as this guy with a camo hat throws it over the fence to be able to pick it up. That ball, luckily, not being able to hit anyone. Yeah, very attentive viewers here at Adrian College, as we had people stand up, and it was not even close to them. So I always want to stay safe, especially with the softball being that big of sizes. That one's in the dirt, and that count is now 3-2. 1 out here in the top of the 6th. 3 runs have been scored so far. Adrian just hoping to keep it at 3. This is full count pitch. Is hit over to third. The play is going to be in time. What a throw by Downey, as that one was as far as a throw you can get from third, as she was basically touching the bag herself. And she was able to get that one over in time for out number 2. Fair, unfortunately, getting her perfect day erased as she grounds out. That first pitch to Spear is called for strike number 1. Great pitch by Holmes. Looking for maybe her 3rd K of the day. as this 0-1 pitch comes in and gets her swinging in the dirt again. It's Holmes. 0-2 count. Looking to retire the side and keep the score 11-5. The pitch. That one's going to be a little bit outside for ball number 1. Luckily, she has 3 more of those before Spear goes over to first. No one on base here. The pitch is going to be hit foul. And Spear stays alive. The wind now blowing a little bit more aggressively here. It's wonderful complex. As we've seen it come into a little bit of a factor here with a couple of these pop outs. But fielders being able to make the good defensive plays. As this pitch comes in, she sits on it, it's high, and it's caught by Grady for the 3rd out. And Adrian able to get out of the inning finally, but let up 3 before they could do so. And the score is now 11-5 going into the bottom of the 6th inning. Don't go anywhere. We're watching club softball here on ACTV.
Today's students on the threshold of a magical time in your life, a time of significant growth and introspection, self-awareness, challenge, and opportunity. A time when you will always look back at and say, you know what? Those were incredibly special years. Never experienced before I arrived and never replicated after you leave college.
Welcome back here at Adrian College. Unfortunately for the Bulldogs, they're down by 6 as the first pitch to Glombowski is in the dirt from Miller. The sun coming out a little bit here at this beautiful field here on the Adrian campus. Game 1 of the doubleheader between the Bulldogs of Adrian and the Saints of Sienna Heights, as this one's hit to short, quickly picked up over to first. And that's out number 1 of the bottom of the 6th. That was a great play by Schellenberger, just able to pick that one up. Came at her fast. She was able to make the good play and get down over to first for the first out. Now up to bat, number 44, Kaylin Sneed, the catcher, as that one's going to be outside and high for ball number 1. 1 out here in the bottom of the 6th. Adrian looking to get something going as they only have 5 more outs to do so. And that one able to sneak up the middle past Schellenberger. And Sneed has herself another single on the day. That's 2 of them, as she is now 2 for 3. This brings up number 20, Allie Bell. She was able to get an RBI single, one of her 2 at-bats that she has already. And we're going to get a pinch runner in for Sneed. It's going to be Glombowski, as she was unfortunately grounded out in the first out, but now she sits at first, pinch running. As that one gets away, and Glombowski is going to make it to second with ease. Thinking about 3, decides go back to 2, as Lane was able to get over to that ball and stop Glombowski from getting to third. But she is now in scoring position for Bell to maybe bat her in. The pitch hits that one, gets past, And it's going to be a single for Bell, as Glombowski, with some smart base running, knew that she was waiting on Spear to see if she was able to get that ball cleanly, and the left fielder for the Saints was able to. So Glombowski stays at 2. That one inside and low for ball number 1 for Schuster. Schuster popped out in her first at bat, then had an RBI single and then another single. As she hits that one fair. It's a fair ball. And Glombowski's going to go home. And she's going to be up. And so is Bell. And Bell is also going to have another run added, as Schuster gets a 2 RBI double for herself to continue her great day that she's had so far. And the Bulldogs erase a 6-run lead to now only 4, as they try to fight to get back into this game against a crosstown rivalry in Sienna. This one, breaking ball, called strike 1 for a little bit of pitcher-on-pitcher action, as Holmes is up to bat. She was able to get an RBI double her last at-bat, which would be something huge if she can do the same and possibly get another run to come in, as Schuster sits on second. 11-7 here in this game so far. 2 runs scored in this inning that you just hopefully saw, with only 1 out. That one hit up in the air, and it's going to be caught. What a play by Schellenberger to get over there, as that was a blooper that went past Miller, and Schellenberger able to catch that one on the fly and get the out. And now 2 outs for Adrian, as they try to continue their comeback run that they've been on for basically the whole game, as this one's hit foul. This is going to be Alexis Hartbuscher, who has made a couple of great plays in the outfield so far today. She's been able to see the ball well in the sun, and she's been able to use her wheels and track down a few that were in the gap for a couple of outs, as she takes strike number 2 with a breaking ball from Miller. 0-2 count with 2 outs. Adrian trying to get a 2-out rally to continue their comeback. That one's going to be just outside from Miller. That one looked a little bit like a strike on the way in, but just barely caught the outside. 1-2 count. That one sat in there for strike number 3, and Miller gets her first K of the day, and she continues her day out there, and Adrian getting 2 runs in the bottom of the 6th to cut the lead down to 4. In the top of the 7th, the last chance for the Bulldogs. They're going to start off needing some big defensive plays, and hopefully can get in at least 4 in this game. Be right back after this. Welcome back here at Adrian College. The score is 11-7 in the top of the 7th. As we get ball number 1, batting right now is number 21, Carly Grassley. Been one of the top players for the Sienna Heights team. And she's looking to start a little bit of a rally to extend their 4-run lead. As she hits that one foul just over the stands here at Adrian College. Beautiful day here. 70 degrees. Sun is getting a little bit lower. It's not directly up anymore, but still is shining beautifully. As the 1-1 pitch comes in, and she's going to hit that one, and Donnie not able to make the play, goes off of her glove, takes a little bit of a spill, and Grassley is going to have a leadoff single for this inning. Now batting is number 26, the catcher for Sienna, in Mac Lane. First pitch of her at bat is going to be low for ball number 1. Grassley having a little bit of a lead off as she was possibly thinking of going to. But 1-0 count. This one's going to be hit right back. And it's going to be a double. Oh, no. Oh, you're kidding. Oh, my goodness. I cannot believe that. That ball was hit directly back at Holmes. And without her even moving. And she didn't have not a single reaction. It went right into her glove. Legit right into her glove. And they had the double play, but unfortunately it got past Ellie Bell. And instead of a double play, it turned into a runner in scoring position at 2. But 1 out, as that one's going to be fouled off. Wow. I can't believe that just happened. It's unfortunate for Mac Lane as she hit that ball extremely well. I mean, in any other place except for Holmes's glove, then she would have been on base. And just lucky for Grassley to not be out right now, as she was most definitely out, as she did not expect that either, as any of us here in the booth, as well as the people in the stands, as they were in awe and a little bit speechless, as much as I was, of that play. 1-1 count now. That one, a great pitch on a breaking ball from Holmes, getting a second strike. Starting to get more confident back with that breaking ball, as she unfortunately got homered off of it, but she's starting to use it a lot more. And here's the 1-2 pitch. That one's going to be hit right to Grady over to first, and Bell's going to make the play. And the throw back to third, trying to get Grassley out as she took a little bit of a lead off, and she was able to make it back in time though. But 2 outs here for Adrian. They unfortunately do have a runner in scoring position on third. So Holmes has to be careful where she places his ball, as she has a lefty come up, and that's number 36, Taylor Eppard. And she swings for strike number 1. That one able to get stopped by Sneed, making sure that Grassley stays fair and making sure that she's not going to be able to take a nice leisurely walk to home. 0-1 pitch is right here. That one to be just a little bit outside. Holmes now trying to work that outside bottom corner like she's been doing to the righties, but now facing a lefty. It's a little bit of a different spot for her, as that one just creeps a little bit outside of the plate for ball number 1. This one swung to second. Good play over to first, and that's going to be 3 quick outs for the Bulldogs. Sienna threatening a little bit to score. We had a very interesting play happen. A little bit of a highlight of a day as we enter the bottom of the 7th. Adrian needing 4 runs, or unfortunately for them, their 5 game win streak comes to a close. But we will be right back for the bottom of the 7th right after this. Bottom of the 7th here. Adrian College needing at least 4 in this one as they start off over to Schellenberger, and it's going to be a quick out for out number 1. That was Taylor Campbell grounding out too short. Schellenberger playing a great game so far as she had a couple of great plays in the defensive side as well as the offensive side, using her legs and being able to steal a couple of bases and getting home multiple times. Downing now here looks at apparently that was low. The ump was really considering what just happened there with that one. He almost called it a strike but put his hand down last second. That one's going to be hit, and it's going to get through the infield. It's going to get through the outfield too. And Downey's just going to stay one. She didn't really expect the outfielders to have it go right past or past both of them, as they couldn't get low enough to make the play. But luckily for them, Downey wasn't really thinking that she had anything more than a single. So now it brings up the leadoff, and then back to the top of the order in Elizabeth Grady as she takes ball number 1 low in the dirt. She needs something going. She hasn't had a hit today. Got on base with an error as well as a fielder's choice, but grounded out the last 2 times, as that one's going to be a little bit outside for ball number 2. But Adrian will take a walk. They just need people on base here as they are down 4 in the bottom of the 7th. Pitch coming in. That one's going to be called a strike, as that one just inside the zone. That one caught kind of the left side of the goal rectangle. 2-1 is the count with 1 out. That one's going to be hit foul for a 2-2 count now. Miller looking to complete the game. Only giving up 7 runs so far. It's a high-scoring affair. Usually these teams score a lot of runs, as the defense kind of struggles a little bit. That one's hit foul again, as it kind of had a little bit of backspin as it was hit into fair territory but then brought back foul. And Lane not able to get there in time to possibly get a double play. But yeah, back continues at 2-2. That one's going to be high. And now we have a full count. Miller looking for 2 more outs to finish the first game of 2 here at this doubleheader. Full count. That one's hit high up in the air into foul territory, and it's going to be a pop out for out number 2. And Adrian is down to their last out. And Lita Glombowski is up to bat. He's got a runner at first with 2 outs and needs to get on base somehow. First pitch. Swings, it's foul. Adrian College looking for a last inning comeback, trying to walk this one off. But first they need to get something going in a 2-out rally situation here, as they are down to their last out of this game. Glombowski swings at that one, and she's going to hit that one into the gap, and it's going to go all the way to the back wall. Downey's rounding 3, and she's going to stay at 3, and Glombowski has a double for herself, and Adrian College is back into business as Sneed, who has singled in her last 2 at-bats, is up to bat for Adrian College. Runners in scoring position here at second and third. This one's going to be hit right to second, and this might end the game, and it will. Fortunately for Adrian, they lose the first game 11-7 is your final score here at Adrian College. Unfortunately, the Bulldogs were not able to fight back after going down early, and they were just not able to ever get back to tie up this game at all, and they lose game 1. Luckily for them, though, it's a doubleheader, and we will be back on this exact stream, so don't go anywhere. Hopefully it'll only be about 30 minutes or so until these two teams fight back again. But my name is Tyler Ackerman. Thank you all for joining us in this first game of 2 in this doubleheader, and we will be right back for game number 2 here on ACTV.
so many firsts, lasts, and in-betweens. We're certainly not the last class to get a smile and a kiss from Bruiser walking across campus. We are never going to be the last class to begin our college careers by serving our local community and pursuing our passions. Above all else, come hell or high water, we will never be the last class to come to Adrian College and find a motivated and supportive community of students, faculty, and staff, and leave with the skills and tools needed to be inspiring industry leaders and professionals with high hopes and dreams for our bright futures ahead. The people and the experiences that we are most grateful for are the ones that will continue us on this upward path for the rest of our lives. In the spirit of gratitude, thank you to my fellow classmates for being a part of this community with me. Whether we spent most of these moments together or barely crossed paths, you contributed your gifts and talents to continue the legacy of this incredible community. Thank you for prioritizing the preservation of the Adrian College experience and for continually seeking to develop the institution's ability to develop both the knowledge in our heads and the care in our hearts.
Thank you to the roommates, friends, teammates, and peers who, although we have only known each other for 4 years, it seems impossible to think about being surrounded by anyone else in the coming weeks. We celebrated each other's accomplishments, became each other's biggest cheerleaders, and never let each other struggle alone. College has been called the most formative years of our lives, but I can say for certain that these last 4 years have included both the most amazing and most difficult moments of my life. One constant, however, is the support of my friends through it all. It is impossible to thank everyone who makes up our AC family. Together, you have each played an integral role in helping us achieve this momentous milestone.
And you be proud to be a graduate of Adrian College. It's a good day to be a Bulldog. Thank you, and congratulations to the class of 2023.
Today's students on the threshold of a magical time in your life, a time of significant growth and introspection, self-awareness, challenge, and opportunity. A time when you will always look back at and say, you know what? Those were incredibly special years. Never experienced before I arrived and never replicated after you leave college.
College is a pinpoint like no other. With our 77 undergraduate degrees, 47 majors, and 21 broad fields of study, Adrian has a one-of-a-kind, hands-on learning experience for everyone. Do you want to visit the campus of Adrian College in person? Visit adrian.edu/campus-visit. Again, that's adrian.edu/campus-visit. Come take in the beautiful facilities at Adrian College for yourself.
There's so many firsts, lasts, and in-betweens. We're certainly not the last class to get a smile and a kiss from Bruiser walking across campus. We are never going to be the last class to begin our college careers by serving our local community and pursuing our passions. Above all else, come hell or high water, we will never be the last class to come to Adrian College and find a motivated and supportive community of students, faculty, and staff, and leave with the skills and tools needed to be inspiring industry leaders and professionals with high hopes and dreams for our bright futures ahead. The people and the experiences that we are most grateful for are the ones that will continue us on this upward path for the rest of our lives. In the spirit of gratitude, thank you to my fellow classmates for being a part of this community with me. Whether we spent most of these moments together or barely crossed paths, you contributed your gifts and talents to continue the legacy of this incredible community. Thank you for prioritizing the preservation of the Adrian College experience and for continually seeking to develop the institution's ability to develop both the knowledge in our heads and the care in our hearts.
Thank you to the roommates, friends, teammates, and peers who, although we have only known each other for 4 years, it seems impossible to think about being surrounded by anyone else in the coming weeks. We celebrated each other's accomplishments, became each other's biggest cheerleaders, and never let each other struggle alone. College has been called the most formative years of our lives, but I can say for certain that these last 4 years have included both the most amazing and most difficult moments of my life. One constant, however, is the support of my friends through it all. It is impossible to thank everyone who makes up our AC family. Together, you have each played an integral role in helping us achieve this momentous milestone.
And you be proud to be a graduate of Adrian College. It's a good day to be a Bulldog. Thank you, and congratulations to the class of 2023.
Today's students on the threshold of a magical time in your life, a time of significant growth and introspection, self-awareness, challenge, and opportunity. A time when you will always look back at and say, you know what? Those were incredibly special years. Never experienced before I arrived and never replicated after you leave college.
College is a pinpoint like no other. With our 77 undergraduate degrees, 47 majors, and 21 broad fields of study, Adrian has a one-of-a-kind, hands-on learning experience for everyone. Do you want to visit the campus of Adrian College in person? Visit adrian.edu/campus-visit. Again, that's adrian.edu/campus-visit. Come take in the beautiful facilities at Adrian College for yourself.
There's so many firsts, lasts, and in-betweens. We're certainly not the last class to get a smile and a kiss from Bruiser walking across.
Welcome here at Adrian College here. It's a great day for some more club softball as we are getting into game 2 of this doubleheader with a crosstown rival in Sienna Heights. As we start off with a bunt that goes foul. My name is Tyler Ackerman here on ACTV. Happy for you guys to join us here. This 0-1 count as we have Grady on the mound. That's going to be ball 1 for Adrian. In defense, we have Grady on the mound, Schuster catching for her, Holmes at first, Hart Boucher at second as that one goes foul. Bell at shortstop, Downey at third, Gilroy at left, Glombowski in center, and wrapping it up in right field is Conley. At the bat to start off this second game is Kennedy Keller. Had herself a nice day in the first game as she's got this one up in the air, and as that foul ball hit a fan watching the game here in the stands. She got a little bit out of the way, but unfortunately she was not able to stand up, as that one's going to be ball number 2 for a 2-2 count. As I was continuing saying there, she wasn't standing up, and it hit her chair, luckily, first, and then hit her back, but she looks A-okay. And we continue on when we have this full count here to lead off game number 1. That one's hit foul. Keller out in front of that one made a weird sound. I think that either hit the stands to the left of the field or maybe even the building, as that one was pulled extremely well, and that one's hit up high. Downey's got it, and she's caught it for out number 1. 1 up, 1 down so far here for Grady. A difference than the first game, as Holmes had a rough first inning, giving up 3, but it wasn't really her fault. The defense of Adrian kind of struggled in the first inning, as that one's going to be inside for ball 1 for Emma Fair. She had her first 2 at-bats were 3 RBIs, and then her following ones were a couple of groundouts in the first game. Looking to start well with a 1-1 count with 1 out here in the top of the first in the second inning. Here as the sun is beginning to go a little bit farther down, as that one's fouled off for strike number 2. Fair kind of shaking her head as she felt like she could have gotten better contact with that one. She read it well. Unfortunately, just hit the top of her bat and went foul. 1-2 count here. That one's in the stands again. Already more action for the fans here than in the first game, as they've had to deal with 2 foul balls. As that one is high. Had some cutting out here on our cameras, but they seem to be A-okay now, as that one's going to be striped just over the head of Downey, and it's going to go into left field, and Fair's got herself a single to start off the game here. 1 out on a Keller pop out, but Fair able to get on base with that single right there. That brings up number 12, Kelsey Spear. That one is fouled off again into the stands. Seems to be a theme here for Adrian, as you can see on the stream that viewer in the stands has that ball in their lap. A little bit of a souvenir for this wonderful Tuesday afternoon into evening doubleheader. Now it's going to be foul, and Schuster thought about throwing it back to first, but decided on keeping it, as you don't want to take the risk of that ball getting past Holmes. That one's fouled, and it's off the press box now. That one might leave a dent on our wonderful press box we have here in this softball field. But that one was kind of coming right towards us here in the press box. Luckily hit a little bit above this window that I'm currently looking out of. And she's going to throw it back to first, taking the risk there as this count stays 2-2 for Grassley. So a switch up. My apologies. I thought they were going to keep the same lineup that they had in the last game. But instead, Grassley is hitting third instead of fourth. She waits on that one and goes foul. But what a great start here we have in this first game. The scores are zeros, but we've seen a lot of action here for the fans as well as us up in the booth. In a 2-2 count. Fouled off again. Grassley making this at bat go the distance. She is fighting for it. Grady not really appreciating that as you seem to get a little bit of tired after pitching multiple times. And that one struck. Back. And it's going to be caught by Glembowski. For a second, I thought maybe that thing was going to get out. But unfortunately for Grassley, she's going to fly out to deep center field for the second out of the inning. Have a runner at first, as that one's called a strike to Mac Lane, who was the catcher in last game. We'll see their positionings as they go on the field for the bottom of the first. That one's going to be a little bit high for ball number 1. 1-1 count here now. 2 outs in the top of the first in this second game of this doubleheader, as that is ball number 2. Mac Lane hits that one well, high up in the air, and it's going to drop in between, and Ferry's going to get to third, and Lane is going to get to second on a bloop double for herself. Unfortunate that the Bulldogs, it was between Downey and Gilroy. And guess where that ball just went, ladies and gentlemen? If you guessed into the stands, you are indeed correct, as that might have been the 5th or 6th. I don't know. I've lost count already of the ball going into the stands, as that one's a little bit low for ball number 1 of this at bat. At 36, Taylor Eppard in at bat as she follows that one up and over the press box here. So the counter stays at 6, as that one is apparently too high, as the breaking ball was not able to catch the top of the zone, and the count is now 2-2. 2 outs with 2 runners in scoring position. That one goes to shortstop, over to first, and gets the out to retire the side. Adrian keeps the slate clean, as they couldn't have done that in the first game, but do it in the second game when Sienna Heights leaves 2 batters in scoring position up for grabs. And after these messages, we will be back for the bottom of the first. Don't go anywhere. We're watching Bulldog softball here on ACTV.
Today's students on the threshold of a magical time in your life, a time of significant growth and introspection, self-awareness, challenge, and opportunity. A time when you will always look back at and say, you know what? Those were incredibly special years. Never experienced before I arrived and never replicated after you leave college.
here at Adrian College. Currently 7:30 p.m. here on this wonderful Tuesday evening, and Elizabeth Grady is up to bat. The pitcher for the second game takes strike one. She is faced against Aaliyah Johnson of Sienna Heights, as that is strike number two. Sienna Heights not used to playing double headers, as their pitcher Miller takes control of most of the pitching efforts in the games they play. Other pitchers for Sienna Heights have only pitched about 3 or 4 innings in total. So a new dynamic for Sienna Heights, as that one's hit into shallow left, and to make the play is the left fielder, number 4, Lee Clinton, for the first out. Clinton was able to get a solo home run in the first game as she powered a ball, pulled it a little bit to left field, and scored one of the runs in their 11-7 win. This one's fouled up into the air, and unfortunately went off of the glove of Grassley, who is now playing second. Grassley played first in the first game, but the Saints switching up things a little bit in who they have in the outfield and in the infield, as that one is outside for ball number 1. This one hit foul again. That's going to bring up second strike. For Adrian. 0-0 is our score. We have 1 ball and 2 strikes for Lita Glembowski with 1 out. That one hit foul. Almost just hit a Bulldog. That was Jocelyn Schuster, who almost just got her head taken off by a softball coming in hot, and it went into Adrian College dugout. Hopefully everyone is okay in there as well. And that one is going to be strike number 3. Johnson got her on the breaking ball for out number 2. Now up to bat, the girl that almost just got her head taken off, Schuster, as she's going to take strike 1. 2 outs so far here in the bottom of the first. 0-0 is your score, and that one's going to be blooped foul for strike number 2. We have Groom in the catcher's position instead of Lane from last game. And the lineup for our Adrian Bulldogs is Grady, Glembowski, Schuster, Bell, Holmes, Donnie, Hartbuscher, Gilroy, and then Conley. That was ball 1, and the count is now 1-2. The pitch. High, and that one over the stands and into foul territory, as Johnson gets a ball from the Adrian College dugout. 1-2 count here. The pitch. That one's popped up foul, and Groom is going to make the catch for out number 3. And 1-2-3 inning on Sienna's side keeps this game at 0s. And we'll be going into the top of the second right after this.
Today's students on the threshold of a magical time in your life, a time of significant growth and introspection, self-awareness, challenge, and opportunity. A time when you will always look back at and say, you know what? Those were incredibly special years. Never experienced before I arrived and never replicated after you leave college.
Welcome back here at Adrian College this beautiful Tuesday evening. Got the scores currently at zeros after one inning of play. Top of the second is about to be underway as Rachel Shoemaker takes the batter's box. Grady pitched well so far, hoping to continue that as that one's hit over to second, over to first, and it is not going to be in time, and it seemed that the first baseman for Adrian, which was Holmes, was unfortunately off the bag, and Shoemaker has a leadoff single. Now up to bat is number 8, Riley Hooker, as she was unfortunately hit by that pitch, and she takes first on a hit by pitch. And quickly for the Bulldogs, they are in kind of a pickle as they have a runner on first and second and have 0 outs. Sienna Heights fans was loving this as that one is inside for ball number 1. Up to bat is number 34, Rory Miller. As that ball gets away and the runners are going to advance a base. And now both are in scoring position with 0 outs. And the count is 2-0. Ump giving Schuster some time to get her mask on. And he signals to play ball. The 2-0 count is inside for ball 3. Gray just looking to find the strike zone. She has to also deal with a runner on second and third. That one is going to be low for ball 4. And the bases are now loaded for number 14, Hannah Hooker. Hooker playing first in today's action as we get a little bit of a player meeting. Coach Kaylin decided not to go out of her dugout. Instead, all the infielders meet up with Grady, give her a little bit of word of advice, giving themselves a little bit of a pep talk. Seems like Belle is doing most of the talking. That might be also because she's the tallest out of the group, so I can see her be talking, but she also gave off the chant call. So it seems like she was trying to tell Grady to get back to being locked in as bases are loaded with 0 outs. That one hit foul. Almost hit the umpire. And the mask, luckily, instead hit the netting here at the softball field. 0-1 is the count for Hooker as she's hit that line drive. Oh, goes in and out of Belle's glove, and she's going to retrieve it, and a run's going to score. So Hooker will have an RBI single. And the game is 1-0 in favor of the Saints. Next up to bat is number 42, Emily Mayak, says that one's called strike 1. She has a little bit of an interesting swing path, I guess you can call it, where she really goes into it and then leans off if she doesn't think it's a good pitch to swing at, as we saw that in our first strike. Her second strike, she decides to swing at a little bit too late, though, and it goes foul. Bases loaded. That one outside for ball number 1. Adrian defense hoping to get something going for themselves as they deal with a situation that they don't want to be in, as bases are loaded with 0 outs. Nice thing for that, if you can look at a little bit of a positive, is that there is an out at every single bag, including home plate. The pitch swung at. This one's going into foul territory and over. Plays for another foul ball. We saw Max do this a couple of times where she was been down the count 1-2, 2-1, and she's going to be able to get that one a single up the middle, and 1 run's going to score, 2 runs going to score, and the ball was thrown over to Downey, trying to see if the runner at second was going to move to 3, but that does not happen, and this game is 3-0. To finish that thought on Miax, the first game, she kept on holding strong and down of counts of 1-2 and 0-2 by fouling off a ton of balls. She eventually got a walk, and she also got a hit too, as that one swung and missed, but goes a wild pitch, and runners are going to advance again. At bat is number 41, Taylor Graham. The count is 1-1. And here's the pitch. Shows bunt, called strike. Runners in scoring position. Sienna Heights looking to get more runs in this inning. That is going to be strike 3 as Graham goes down swinging. And Grady has her first K of the day. Now up to bat is number 25, Aaron Groom, the catcher. That one's going to be high and outside for ball number 1. Adrian finally being able to get their first out, as that one's fouled off. Maybe? No? That might have been just a clean strike that got a little bit away from Schuster, but nonetheless, strike 1. That one hit right over to Bell, but it goes off of what seems to be her forearm, and 1 run is going to score off of that unfortunate play where it just skipped weirdly, and it caught her by surprise, and another run will score to make the game a 4-0 lead for the Saints. That one just got a little bit away from Bell, the second time that's happened in this inning, as that one's going to be outside, and no one was covering second, so Groom is going to be able to get to second with ease. Up is Clinton. As I mentioned before, when she made the play in the outfield, she has hit the lone home run in this doubleheader so far. So she was showing some pop of hers, as she's going to hit that one foul. Not able to get to it was Hartbuscher. Clinton have some pop with that bat, hoping to maybe possibly have a second home run day, or at least get an RBI with runners at second and third. That one hit just over the head of Downey, and it's going to go all the way to the back wall, and she's going 3. The throw is not in time, and she's safe for a triple. Clinton having herself a day, as hit a home run and now just had a 2 RBI triple, and the score all of a sudden was at zeros just what seems like 5 minutes ago, and the score is 6-0. Sienna. That one hit to the left side, and it's going to be foul for number 2, Avery Schellenberger. Schellenberger had some great plays on the defensive side of the ball in the first game, playing shortstop. Had also a few good hits. Looking to continue that in this at-bat. That one low in the dirt for ball 1. The count 1-1, only 1 out in the top of the second here, as that one's going to be hit foul. Adrian looking to get out of this, as they have a runner in scoring position on third with only 1 out. is trying to stop the bleeding here, as it's been a quick 6 runs for the Saints. That one hit foul. Almost took out Clinton, as she was already making her way over to home plate when that was hit. Luckily, she is throwing safe signs to her teammate, telling her that it's all right, that she almost just got blasted by a ball. But nevertheless, counts 1-2. That one waited on, played by Grady. Might be going home. It will. And Clinton, with the speed that she has, we've seen with that quick triple that she got, gets to home in time, and the game is 7-0 with 2 outs. We got a time called here by the ump, as Schuster cleans off home plate herself. And all of a sudden, Sienna Heights has made it through their whole entire batting order, which is a lot, as, oh my. I'm pretty certain Keller just foul tipped that one off of her mask. Luckily, she's got the protection of that face mask that softball players have. Baseball players do not have that, so if she was playing baseball, she would have just ate that softball for free. But instead, fouled off the mask, and it's 0-1. That one, a nice, really nice curveball there by Grady, and the count is 0-2. 2 outs here. Top of the second. It's a 7-0 game. 7 runs have been scored in this inning so far. Sienna Heights has blown up in this inning. The Bulldogs haven't been able to do much, as that one's foul tipped. And Keller continues her at bat. 1-2 is the count. No runners on base, as she hits that one foul over to the left side. And Gilroy is going to go pick that one up and bring it over and throw it to Grady. Keller keeping herself in this at bat, showing some resistance, and that one's going to be far in the dirt, and the count is 2-2. Showing the patience off, making Grady work for this last out, as she's had a little bit of a rough inning. That one's going to be high, and the count is now full. So all of a sudden, you go from a 1-2 count with multiple foul balls hit, and the count is full, and this pitch means is going to matter big time. Grady to retire the side. That's too high, and it's going to be ball 4. Keller gets on base with a walk, as she follows up her single in the first. And now up to bat is Emma Fair. That one's hit well, and it's going to drop in center field. And Keller's going to go 3, and she's safe. And that means Fair is going to be having a stand-up double, as she was able to get to second off of that throw from center field. Lombowski trying to get Keller out at third. So we had no runners on base, and then in a matter of 2 pitches, we have runners on second and third in scoring position for number 21, Carly Grassley, as she hits that one high up into the air, and Bell calls off everyone else, and that pop out is going to be the 3rd out of the inning. Unfortunately for the Bulldogs, they give up 7 in the top of the second before they were able to get those 3 outs, and they're looking to fight back in this one like they were trying to do in the first game, and they're going to be looking to get it going in the bottom of the second, which you guys will be able to see right after these messages.
Today's students on the threshold of a magical time in your life, a time of significant growth and introspection, self-awareness, challenge, and opportunity. A time when you will always look back at and say, you know what? Those were incredibly special years. Never experienced before I arrived and never replicated after you leave college.
Welcome back here at Adrian College. Bottom of the second, the Bulldogs are unfortunately down by 7 as Bell takes ball 1. Second pitch to her is in there for strike 1. Bell walks off the batter's box, shaking her head, knowing that she could probably swing at that one, but it was not necessarily the pitch that she likes. She's going to wait on that. That one she did like. She belted it, but unfortunately, Fast Clinton gets there in time for out number 1. Bell struck that extremely well. Unfortunately, Clinton is playing in the right spot at the right time and didn't have to move too much, but still made the athletic play to get the first out. Now up to bat is 13, Haley Holmes. Playing first in the second game. She pitched in the first game and she fouls off for strike 1. Adrian College looking decently well here on this nice Tuesday night. It's cooled off a little bit as that's going to be ball 1 on the outside. It's a nice 70 degrees. The sun was shining pretty decently well today. Had a lot of people out and about, either tanning or playing some volleyball in the sand courts that we have around here, as that one Holmes swung at and unfortunately missed for strike 2. Wind now coming into a factor here temperature-wise, as it's getting a little bit chillier, as that one struck just over the head of the first baseman, and it's going to go, and Holmes is going 2. She can probably go 3 if she can get there. She will, and she's going to have a stand-up triple. You want to talk about getting a response here for Adrian. You're down 7. You need something going on, and Holmes was able to get a nice triple. Now Downey trying to bat her in. Only 1 out in this inning so far. First pitch. It's in there for strike 1. As I was saying, 70 degrees is not really the case anymore as it's gone down in that matter. I've seen most of the softball girls now wearing sweatshirts like Downey is, as that one's in there for strike 2. Also have Clinton wearing one in the outfield as well, as you get a little bit chilly, you want to make sure you stay warm. And if you feel good, you usually play good. And that's going to be strike number 3. And Johnson has another K. Start off her afternoon. Now up to bat is number 12, Alexis Hartbuscher. As that is strike number 1. Hartbuscher pointing to herself, knowing that if she gets that pitch again, she'll probably swing at it. And she does, but that one goes foul. Adrian College in desperate need of getting this run in from third, as Holmes had a nice triple that just went over the first baseman's head and all the way to the back wall. And with her speed, she was able to get to 3, but she needs someone to bat her in. 0-2 count. Pitch coming. A little bit low. Ball 1. In desperate need, Adrian is. And that one is going to be strike number 3. Johnson gets her 3rd K of the evening. And that one was a huge one to keep the clean sheet going for Sienna, as they look to increase their lead in the top of the 3rd. And we will see if they can right after this.
today's students on the threshold of a magical time in your life, a time of significant growth and introspection, self-awareness, challenge, and opportunity. A time when you will always look back at and say, you know what? Those were incredibly special years. Never experienced before I arrived and never replicated after you leave college.
Welcome back here at Adrian College. We are going into the top of the third here. Sienna Heights, unfortunately, winning 7-0 as they erupted in the second. And to start off the top of the third with a called ball is number 26, Mac Lane. Mac Lane played catcher last game. Doesn't seem to be any position. Today's affair, as that is going to be ball number 2, both of them being up high. Grady hoping for a different result than the last inning. Actually, excuse me, we've had a pitcher's change. Not notice until now as number 32. 32 is Taylor Campbell comes in to pitch in replacement of Grady, as she's got 3 balls, 0 strikes in this count. That one's in there for her strike number 1. 3-1 count now. Grady getting replaced and moving to short. And a few other changes that we don't know of, as that one's hit high up, kind of in that no man's land. And oh boy. Oh no. Some Bulldogs unfortunately making contact with one another. Don't know exactly who it was, but it was the second baseman who was Hartbucher at one point. Don't know if it really is her anymore, but Caitlin is going to go out there to check up on somebody in the middle of center field. Caitlin, luckily, is a trainer. She is a trainer for a lot of teams here at Adrian, including the team I'm on, Asha D2 for men's hockey. She's a great trainer, so seems like everyone is okay, and it was indeed Gombowski that fell. But she seems to be okay, and the blue is going back into his position along with the other ump. And he's saying play ball with a 3-1 count. That one's hit to second. Unfortunate for the Bulldogs, as that one was dropped by Hartbucher. And instead of a fielder's choice, runner gets on first. And we got runners at first and second with 0 outs. That pitch inside for ball 1. Fortunately for the Bulldogs, looking a little bit similar to the second inning. They try to switch things up. That one's hit into center field, and is it going to drop? It will. The play over to 3 This is not going to be in time, and the bases are now loaded for Sienna Heights as number 8, believe that is Riley Hoover, is up to bat with the bases loaded. 0-0 count. That one hit softly over to Donnie, and she's going to have no play at all as everybody was already able to make it to their designated base before she was able to get that ball into her hands. And the score is now, unfortunately, 8-0 in favor of the Saints. Up to bat is number 34, Rory Miller. That one's going to be outside for ball number 1. Adrian College made a pitching change after the second inning. Unfortunately, it hasn't really helped them out as all, as that one's hit past Downey and into the outfield, which is now Bell, and she's going to throw it back to her, and another run scores, and the score is 9-zip. Unfortunate for the Bulldogs as they find themselves down 9 with the bases loaded with 0 outs. This pitch coming, and it's going to be foul tipped for strike 1. Same situation that they had in the second inning when they had bases loaded with 0 outs, and it took a little bit to get most of the runs in, and eventually Sienna Heights was able to. That's why they had 7 runs in that second inning. That one up high. Oh, no. Called a strike. First, the ump didn't have anything, so I assumed it was going to be a ball. And then last minute, he decided it was going to be a strike as that one's fouled off, and the count continues at 0-2. The sun's starting to set here as we approach the approximate time of it. The lights are already on to light up the field for the players to be able to see as we're going to get a little bit of a Tuesday night softball game, as that is ball 1 of the at-bat. Number 14, Hannah Hooker, is at the plate, looking to bat in a couple of runs for her team. That one also high. The count is now even at 2. 0 outs, but an out at every single base if Adrian can get there. So unfortunately that all runners were safe after that one, as that one's tipped off and the at bat continues. Those can finish my thoughts. Ball that was hit over to Donnie. She didn't have much of a play as everybody was already safe, as it was kind of a blooper that she had to run up to, and that's why runners are at all 3 bases. 2-2. The delivery. That one struck high up into the air. That's caught. The throw over to home is going to be off the plate. It's going to be a sac fly, but over to third. And she's safe. Oh, for a second, thought the runner at 3 was going to be called out, but Gombowski able to make that catch in center field. Threw it back to home plate, but it wasn't as accurate as she would hoped for, and it's going to be a sac fly for Hooker. And she gets an RBI, and the runners advance to second and third, as the third base runner has a lot of dirt on her jersey, as this first pitch the at-bat is going to be fouled off. 42, Emily Mix. Talked about a little bit earlier, with her being very patient at the at-bat. Hits a lot of foul balls I've seen so far. 0-1 count. That one hit short to second. Throw over to first is an out. And one runner scores. That was number 8, Riley Hoover, that found the plate. And it's going to be a ground out RBI for Mayix. Runner at third now, score 11-0 in favor of Sienna, as Graham was going for possibly a bunt, pulls back, but the curveball stays in for strike one. 0-1 count. The pitch. Shows bunt, but it goes right over. And it was a tip for strike number 2. Campbell trying to get out of the inning. The pitch. Strike 3. First K of Campbell's day. And the Bulldogs get out of the top of the third, letting up 4. And the score is now 11-0. We'll be right back here on ACTV for the bottom of the third right after this.
Today's students on the threshold of a magical time in your life, a time of significant growth and introspection, self-awareness, challenge, and opportunity. A time when you will always look back at and say, you know what? Those were incredibly special years. Never experienced before I arrived and never replicated after you leave college.
Welcome back here at Adrian College. Bulldogs down 11-0 as number 30, Emily Gilroy, swings and misses for strike 1. Second pitch. Oh, my goodness. Almost clipped Gilroy in the face. The ump thought that was going to hit him too as he lunged out of the way to make sure that he doesn't get hit. And the count is now 1-1. That one in there for strike number 2. Johnson having herself a day so far. She's got 2 Ks. I think maybe 3 at this point. There's strike 3. So it possibly could be 4. My counting might be wrong, but we know at least it's 3. And Johnson retires the first batter. Now up to bat is Mercedes Conley, number 21. She follows that off for strike 1. Johnson having herself a day so far as the ball eventually gets back to her. The ump here helping out Sienna Heights players and getting the ball for them. And here's the 0-1 pitch. That one's low and inside for ball 1. 11-0 is your score so far in this game. We're in the bottom of the third as that one is up high for ball 2. Adrian still not being able to get through their batting order as this is the 9th batter. Sienna Heights able to get through theirs, even though theirs is much longer than 9. As it is at least 15 from my counting in that little bit of time. 3-1 pitch. It's going to be swung at. And it's going to be up the middle. And Conley is going to have herself a single. So far, we have seen a triple and a single for the Bulldogs. Hoping to get something going. We're going back to the top of the order with Grady. And here's the pitch. Shows bunt. It's tipped foul. I think that one went off of the shoes of the umpire. So he looks down at his shoes that he's wearing. Hopefully didn't leave a scuff mark for him. Anyway, I mean, he's wearing shoes to a softball game for umping. I'm assuming that he'd be fine with them getting dirty, as that one's going to be a ball in the dirt. Counts 1-1. One out here so far with a runner on first. And here's the pitch. It's going to be hit foul as that went, I'm pretty certain, through the legs of the catcher and the ump. A little double nutmeg for Grady as she fouled that one off. And the count is 1-2. Here comes a pitch. That one's going to be outside and high. The count is now even at 2s. Johnson pitching extremely well so far. Has 3, maybe 4 Ks. And has only let up 2 hits. That one high up into the air, foul. Will anybody get to it in time? No, it hits a tarp just outside of the fence line here at the field. That too, tarp helps cover this field to make sure that it is in the conditions well enough to play, as Sienna Heights and Adrian have had to reschedule a lot of games due to weather and the temperature as well. As that one's blooped over to first, but it's going to be fouled before first baseman could get to it. And this count continues. Long at bat here for Grady. Trying to get something going. It's been 2-2 for what seems like forever here. But that's what you need to have going if you want to get a comeback to start. And that's going to be a full count now, 3-2. Grady showing off her patience and her ability to fight over the plate. Seeing if anything is even near the strike zone, she's swinging at it. That one swung over, and it's going to be in the gap for a single. And that is one great at-bat there for Grady. Able to take at least 10 pitches and fouled off a decent amount of them. And she gets herself a single in the third hit against Johnson. Now, at-bat is Glombowski, one of the best hitters for Adrian. So if you need something going to climb yourself back into this game already down 11, this is your girl to do it, as she's got a runner in scoring position and a runner on first. That pitch outside, and the count is even at 1. Adrian getting a little bit darker as the sun begins to set even more, as that one's hit high up into the air into foul territory, and it's going to be, just missed by the first baseman. That was Hannah Hooker, that was not able to track that ball down. Probably had some light in her eyes as she kind of put her hands up in the air trying to see the ball. And sometimes when you get late into the night and those bright lights from the lighting we have here at Adrian College, as that one is strike number 3. And another K for Johnson. But to finish that thought, the lighting here, if the ball is put in the right spot as you're trying to track it down and the lighting comes into a factor, it's very hard to see. So that one's fouled off and hit into the stands, as that I think is number 7 probably into the stands, and we're not even through 3 innings. So we had the first inning had a lot of them go into the stands. A lot of people are keeping some. Oh my, that one's hit well, but guess who's there? Clinton. And Clinton's able to track that one down with the speed that she has. And that's out number 3 on a fly out. Adrian leaves 2 runners on base, not able to score. And unfortunately for the Bulldogs, they still continue to be down by 11 going into the top of the 4th. Don't go anywhere. We're watching club softball here on ACTV.
Today's students on the threshold of a magical time in your life, a time of significant growth and introspection, self-awareness, challenge, and opportunity. A time when you will always look back at and say, you know what? Those were incredibly special years. Never experienced before I arrived and never replicated after you leave college.
Welcome back here at Adrian College. Unfortunately, the Bulldogs are down by 11 here in the top of the fourth. Campbell is still pitching for the Bulldogs. She came in at the top of the third when it was 7-0. And she's been able to only let up 4 so far. As number 25, Aaron Groom, the catcher, takes ball number 2. 2-0 count now. Here's the pitch. That one's going to be high. Ball number 3. Quick 3-0 count here to start off the inning for the Bulldogs. Groom probably not going to swing at this one. So Campbell just needs this one to get into the zone. And it does for strike 1. 3-1 count now for Groom. Campbell looking to fight herself back into this at bat. And she won't, as Groom takes ball 4 and finds herself on base to start off the inning. Now, we've seen this a few times now. Clinton is a switch hitter. Her first at bat in the first game, she batted lefty, which she is doing now. In her second at bat, when she hit the home run, she batted righty. As she hits that one high up into the air, and it's going to be caught. What a play by Bell to be able to dive and catch that one, as that was going barely foul. And she got there just in time for the first out of the inning. To finish that, seeing Clinton hit the home run on the right side, and then she batted her first at bat in this game on the right side as well. But that last at bat she had was on the left. And when she had that first at bat in the first game when she played left, she was able to give it a little bit of a blooper and just outrun the throw. But here's now Shoemaker. She hits that one high just over the head of Hartbuscher, and she will find herself getting a single. And now with only 1 out, runners on first and second to go back to the top of the order for their third at bat. And this is number 28, Kennedy Keller. Shows bunt. She takes bunt, and it's perfectly placed, and everyone's going to be safe. And now, just like last inning and the inning before, the bases are loaded once again. Difference being for this inning that there is an out. So the Bulldogs can be at least happy about that. Unfortunately, they're still in a sticky situation where the base is loaded. That pitch is going to be inside and low for ball number 1. Up to bat is number 7, Emma Fair. 1-0 count. And here's a pitch. That's going to be swung over, and it's going to find the gap in between third and shortstop. 1 run scores. The second one's coming in, and she's going to be safe. And no play at third or second. So Fair is going to find herself with another RBI double, and this time it's 2. And this game is now 13-0 in favor of Sienna Heights. A little bit of a different dynamic from the first game. This first game was a little bit closer. It wasn't as big of a blowout as we're seeing right now. So hopefully the Bulldogs can fight back and get into this game so they won't get mercy ruled by the 5th inning. Runners at second and third with 1 out. Here's a pitch, swung at, right back to the pitcher, and it's going to be, she's going to just take the simple out at first. Doesn't want to deal with the play at home, and another run's going to score, and it's 14-0. That was Carly Grassley that's going to get the ground out RBI. Runner at third now. As that one's hit right up the gap between third and shortstop. We've seen that a couple of times now. And that's going to score another run. And this game is now 15-0 in favor of the Saints. 2 outs. Runner at first. Adrian just looking to get out of the inning. That one's hit right to first. And Holmes is going to make the simple play to get the out and retire the side. Unfortunately, Saints were able to score 4 more runs and then extend their lead up to 15. Hopefully, Kaylin is going to be able to figure something out for her Bulldogs to try to get at least back into this game or do something to get going. But we will be seeing that in the bottom of the 4th right after this.
Today's students on the threshold of a magical time in your life, a time of significant growth and introspection, self-awareness, challenge, and opportunity. A time when you will always look back at and say, you know what? Those were incredibly special years. Never experienced before I arrived and never replicated after you leave college.
Welcome back here at Adrian College. The score is 15-0 as Bell stripes one into right field, and it's going to be caught by number 41, Taylor Graham. And just like that, before I can even get some words out, Adrian already has 1 out in the bottom of the 4th. Sun is setting wonderful here at Adrian College. The wind is a little bit wicked as our wonderful flags here on the right side of the screen as that one's hit also to the right. And Graham has had 2 plays and 2 outs for her as her teammates are celebrating for her big time in the dugout as well as the center fielder, as she must not get much action in the outfield, I guess. I don't really know, but she made 2 great plays right there and 2 outs for the Bulldogs. And here's the pitch. I was about to say, if it's a 3-pitch inning, might be one of the fastest innings we've ever seen. Well, at least the bottom of the inning. The top of the inning was a little bit longer than that. But the 1-0 count here now. It's going to be 2-0. Downey trying to get something going. 2 outs. Hoping to at least not get shut out here. That would be the best possible case for Adrian, as that's going to be ball number 3. Johnson threatening her first walk of the day. Hasn't walked anyone just yet. The possibility now is with this 3-0 count, and that's going to be ball number 4, and she's got her first walk. She's got 5 strikeouts, though, so her strikeout to batters walked ratio isn't too bad. But now comes in number 12, Alexis, as that play was not able to get, oh my, oh boy. Unfortunately, Hartbuscher had a nice play at first, able to run it out, but she turned the wrong direction. You cannot walk or turn into the outfield after you pass first. And that's exactly what she did. And, oh, I think this game's over right now. It is. Mercy rule in 4 innings. I didn't know it was only 4. That's what it took. But that's exactly what just happened. And your final score here at Adrian College is Sienna Heights 15 and the Bulldogs 0. So a quick recap of today's games in this doubleheader. Sienna Heights was able to win 11-7 in 7 innings and then blow out the Bulldogs in the second game 15-0, shutting them out. Congratulations to the Saints on playing very well and being able to beat a red-hot Bulldog team. And hopefully Adrian College can get back to playing at least decently well in their next couple of games that they're playing. They play Senior Day on Sunday. It's all with College. But that is all from here up in the booth. My name is Tyler Ackerman. Thank you for you guys watching this stream. And we hope to see you another time. Good night, everyone.